Hello everyone and welcome to Tailored Acres. I'm Taylor and I'm a home gardener in Wisconsin Zone 4B. And this video is going to be about lessons learned this year with my cut flower garden and plans for next year. These are some of my favorite bouquets that I created this year. I feel like my putting together of the arrangements has been getting better and better as I do this more, which is really fun to see through pictures. I would make about 4 to 6 probably bouquets a week, and you can kind of see the variety of sizes I make. Obviously, if you do smaller bouquets, you can make more. But you can see too, some of my filler was lacking in some of these, like they're mostly just flowers. And you can really stretch your flowers a lot farther if you have more filler. And that's something that I need to work on for next year. It wasn't my plan, but it just kind of didn't work out that I had a lot of things that failed this spring. So definitely something I'm continuing to work on. And I did forage quite a few things too. Some of the grasses and some of the little sparkle filler were foraged as well from the woods around our house. So that was a fun way to stretch my flowers further as well. So these are some of the examples of the ones that I put together, and we will look at all the spaces that I grew cut flowers in the rest of this video so you can kind of get a good feeling of how much space I have and how many I was able to make from that. We are solidly into September now, and this is what my cut flower garden looks like. I have 4 rows. The first row is just dahlias, and then I'll go through the plants in each one and how they worked out this year. So here are the dahlias, and this was probably their happiest year in this spot. I have been working on my soil, and that's pretty evident that these are much happier this year. There are still some that were pretty small, but some of them are newer varieties for me. The ones that were larger were either from my mom this year or ones that I've had for years that have done a little bit better. So just kind of interesting that maybe some of these tubers that were from other regions of the states just took a while to get adjusted here. So some of these are just absolutely gorgeous, but I am going to be kind of culling my collection for next year. This one is definitely staying though. And then I did have seed dahlias, and those are all right here, and they were all super short. There were some really cute ones in here, but I'm not sure if I'm going to keep any of them. I'm not sure what their tubers look like either. And I do have some really nice seed heads here as well. So I think I am going to try to save some. Ones are all falling out. I should probably collect some of these. I'm going to do some seeds again next year, but I'm also trying to seed save some of my bigger varieties because I like the really tall ones. So that's this area here. And I did do the netting, which we really didn't get many storms this year, but it did help. None of them tipped over here. One note on my path, I did put, it was just overgrown. You can see some on the side here poked through, but I put down cardboard and some wood chips, and that really helped a lot. So I just got to remember to maintain that and do that earlier in the year next year. I'm going to be doing a cover crop, I believe, in this area of winter rye here, but I still need to do some more research on when I can plant that, because obviously everything is still doing okay for the most part here. So our next ones here, which I'm definitely going to grow next year. Oh, and I should know, I think that I'm going to put all my dahlias into my landscaping next year. The woodland creatures mostly left them alone this year that were on the landscaping. So then I can have a whole nother row of cut flowers in this area, because I didn't use any of my dahlias for cut flowers this year. So this area was all a branching type stock. So you can see here, I have multiple branches. So I really like that. I did a deep cut in the spring right here on all of them. And I like that because just having one cut on a flower is pretty sad. So I really like this. I liked all 3 colors, so I'm going to do all 3 of those again next year. Then one guy that is finally blooming here is this Fama Blue pincushion flower. They're pretty cool looking. Those are supposed to be perennials, so we see if they make it through winter. Then in here I had some, I think this was Virgo. Yeah, I think so. Feverfew. So these ones did okay this year, but the Feverfew that overwintered last year, the magic singles that I have, I'll show you in a little bit, those are like still producing. So I'm hoping that that will be the case next year for these. I'll probably move all these out into my landscaping, but I didn't like them at first, but I really like them in the arrangements and just a little puff of filler flower. So those are those. And then next we have all zinnias. So I was really happy with the amount of zinnias that I had this year, which was probably about 50 plants in this area. It made me a nice amount of bouquets each week from them, and the majority of my flowers were zinnias this year that I used, which was okay. So this, I can't remember what we had here. I think this was Illumination and El Dorado, maybe something like that. So bright pink and bright orange. Those were pretty fun. They're still like not my favorite. I like the lighter colors better, more muted. So then we go into the Queen series. So we have, I think this is Queen Blush, Queen Lime, and Queen Red in this area. There's a Queen Red like way over there. These are the Queen Orange, which are my absolute favorite. And then the Queen Lime, which are beautiful and match like everything. So I really like all of those selections. And I'll be doing, I think, all of those again next year. Some of the bright pink ones I might not do. I don't know. It's kind of fun sometimes. But this area right here, all of these here were ones that I seed saved from last year. So you can see I got quite the mix here, and I really thought it was fun to see what the zinnias came out as, because these are all open pollinated, so they could be just about anything of a mix that I had before, or even something that was in the genetics of the zinnias before that. So I'll definitely do a selection of my seed saved ones before, because they're just so fun to see what you get. And let me adjust that here. So this is like these two, I think they're from the same plant. Yeah. So this is what it looks like before it gets fully developed. And then they turn into this, which is beautiful. This one was really a pretty color too. It's like almost an orangey yellow. And they all just have a little bit of a uniqueness to them. I just thought that was so much fun. And I actually really liked all of them that I got. So definitely doing that again next year. I also did straw flowers over here, which really had some struggles. Like this is a normal looking one here, but you can see this has got like Astor's yellow, where I don't even know what the heck is going on with those. So yeah, kind of weird this year for those. And honestly, I love straw flowers, but I don't usually pick them to go in arrangements. So I don't know. I don't know that I'll do many, if any, straw flowers next year. They're very beautiful for dried flowers, but I have quite a few saved of those too. So then we have Rudbeckia here. So there's a few different varieties here, and I had planted more, but a lot of them struggled when they were little. Once they got outside, they did a lot better. So I think maybe it was just a learning curve for me. So I do plan on doing many more of these again next year, because they are really pretty and they kind of give that sunflower vibe of just like a really bright pop of yellow. So I really liked doing those. I'm hoping I can figure them out for next year to get more plants that survive past seedling. Now, this was my favorite new flower for this year. So these are sweet pink dianthus, and they are a cool flower. So I had them out here, I think it was even like in April, and they didn't do a whole lot. And then they have just been like blooming all summer. They do have some shorter stems now than they did in the spring, but they're still just gorgeous flowers. And I mean, they match like everything with that light pink. So I love doing those. Definitely will do those again next year. I think I'm probably going to do the same color even. And then there are a green ball variety that I'm going to try to get seed for that keep this like feathery, like unblossom look that I think would be awesome filler. So I'm going to try growing those next year as well. Excuse me. So then we go farther down this here. We had the Lisianthus that I started from seed that I don't know, they just really didn't do great. You can see there's one blooming right there, which is absolutely gorgeous. These are the most beautiful flowers, hands down. But I didn't cut it either because it's like, it just is so beautiful to look out here and see it, and I only had one, so it's kind of hard to incorporate. You can see there's another one blooming here, but the ones that I started from seed did not do great this year, and it was a lot because I did not keep them well watered enough inside, and they dried out, and they're so tiny that they like can't survive any neglect, which was a little tough because this is obviously just a hobby. So we have Magic Single Feverfew in here, which there's a few of them because they volunteered like everywhere, which is good and bad, obviously. Free plants, but quite the mess if you don't want them all. So we have a purple Lisianthus that I got from a local greenhouse that is just beautiful. Love the Lisianthus. I think next year I'm probably not going to start any from seed and just get a few from the greenhouse. They were like $1 a plant, so that was definitely probably a better investment than getting seed. So then we have kind of some remnants of snapdragons. These, I don't know, I see people with gigantic plants, so I'm not quite sure what I'm doing wrong. And these do get some shade from this tree here, this crabapple. So I think I'm going to probably move the snaps to the dahlia area next year so that they can get a little bit more sun. So we had I think these are Potomac Ivory, and then the rest of them are Potomac Sunrise and a Potomac mix. Next year I might try a different variety instead of the Potomac, or in addition to the Potomac, because I really like the Potomac. They're nice strong stems. Even these that, I mean, you can see they're past the stage to cut them, but they also get invaded by these harlequin bees. Sorry, right here. So that's kind of annoying, but I just flick them off when I cut them. So it's just annoying. Then we have over here my Cosmos, which really struggled in this spot this year for the most part. You can see there's a couple bigger plants, but a lot of like early death here. So I don't know if they weren't getting enough water, which definitely could be. This is all on drip, but I did not do a good job of checking if it was working. So yeah, these struggled a bit. So I don't know if I'll do a new spot for these next year, but I'll definitely do the Fizzy Rose Picotee, which is this one here. These are so beautiful, and they have a wide variety. So like this is the same one here. This is one here. There's one up there. And then there are some over here too. They're just really pretty. And then I did have some afternoon white in here, but somehow my tags got messed up, so I'm not sure which ones are which. And then I had some dwarf white, which I'm guessing are these ones here. They are shorter, but they have really nice flowers, and they actually make really nice cut flowers too. So still gonna do probably all the same ones that I did this year. I had some cupcakes in here too, but I didn't see many of those blooming, so I think those maybe had some problems as well. So here is an aisle that I didn't get to with the cardboard and wood chips, so you can see how overgrown this is, which is just super annoying, but once you fall behind, it's hard to catch up. So then this area got some real struggles this year. They were purple tower asters, I believe, and then the Salmonjana aster, which this is what it's supposed to look like. So I think these all have asters yellow, which is wonderful. I should probably get these out of here ASAP. I might take a break from doing these for next year. I don't know, just give it a year to recover, I guess. But I'm not going to do the purple next year. I may still do some Salmonjana, but probably out in the landscaping. These were supposed to be Dusty Miller with that cut flower, but they're small. they're tiny. Like, I don't know if they just take a long time to get going, but those were kind of a bust this year. I think those were like Cascade, the variety. Then I have some sage, and it's just a normal sage, and I've used this in few arrangements, and it smells really nice. You can also use it for cooking, so like when you strip your lower leaves, I've just been saving them, drying them, and putting them in a bag for cooking. So these I'll definitely do again next year, and maybe even more, because I thought they were really fun, and they smell really nice too. So they were a great filler, and I'll still be cutting on these for quite a while. So that was the cut flower garden area. And next I'll go to my landscaping, and then I do have some cut flowers in the vegetable garden too. So next we're going into the median garden area. Hi, Hank. And this was kind of a trial this year to see how some cut flowers would do out here. Because ideally it would just be, I would just have my cut flowers like fully integrated into landscaping, so that you wouldn't really be able to tell that they were cut flowers, and it's just a much more enjoyable space for everyone. But it's deer pressure, bunny pressure, you know, how it actually looks in the landscaping. That's kind of the tricks that I'm trying to figure out here with these. So what we have here is quite a few things. So I'm actually going to start in the back here, and this is like fully overgrown weeds. You can see I'm actually like working on this section right now, so hopefully it'll look different in a week or so. But I have yarrow that I started from seed last year, and some of them I started like in July and did a fall planting, and some of them I started in spring, and I couldn't really tell the difference between the two. But I'm hoping next year they'll be a lot bigger. So that's kind of like this plant here, if you can see that. There's another one here, another one there. So they go all the way down, even though you can't see them through the weeds. Another thing I've been cutting heavily on right now is this Autumn Joy sedum. And I think I'm actually going to try to split these, and maybe this fall, maybe in the spring, to do a few more of them. So one other thing to note is I see a lot of people say like cut it in, you know, like mid-June so that they don't flop over. Well, I didn't cut this one, and I cut this one. So you can see how much farther behind this one is, but it has much smaller blooms, which I'm like, oh, this is perfect for cut flowers. But what happens is these like little stems on the side here are really weak. So like they just break off. So they actually don't make a good cut flower stem. Because of that, I've been really liking the big ones a lot better for cut flowers. So in the future, I'm not going to be cutting mine, but if you just have them in your landscaping for funsies, maybe cutting them back is the way to go for you. So that was kind of an interesting experiment this year. So then if I swing back around here, so, oh, here's another yarrow, summer berries. So these will be really nice next year, I think. I did have some like vase life issues with these. Some of them like dried up, but need to figure out quite the right time to harvest them too, I think. So I do also have dahlias over here, quite a few of them. But those I'm not doing as cut flowers. Trying to get over here to show you this. Oh, there's a grasshopper in there. Lovely. That's probably why there's so many holes in it. But these are just like so crazy big. This is Penn Hill watermelon, my favorite one. They're just like 3D curls. They're so cool. But I have quite a few other ones in here too. So I think I'm going to do this again next year, but I'm probably going to try to stay to like the pinks and purples or the pinks and oranges, because altogether it kind of looks too much of a mess for me. And then the other ones will go back in the other garden. So I think this is the, maybe that, or it's a weed. Trying to tell, I can't. So this was the pearl yarrow, which, yeah, that must be a weed. The other one is cute though. This is what that looked like, and that is kind of making a mat, so I'm hoping it'll do better next year. Those were cute. They almost had a baby's breath look. So I started those from seed. Back up here. So I did have some straw flower in here. which is gorgeous, but it definitely just looks like a weed in the landscaping, especially where I had it. So I'm not going to do those again. Well, maybe at all, but definitely back in that specific location. I did have feverfew in here, some magic singles and some of the Virgo as well. And those were so happy. You can see they're still sending up blooms. Definitely liked their life out here. Let's see here. I also have Veronica in here that I did use for some cut flowers. And those did kind of have a second bloom too. I really like them. They're really cute, even just for landscaping. Oh yeah, I do have Gomphrena in here as well, which I haven't cut any of these for cut flowers yet. They're a little bit behind the ones that I have in my other garden. So I'll show you those in a little bit, but these are not ready to cut yet. So just kind of interesting. I have been cutting some of my heuchera. These blooms are just like the most perfect sparkle for a bouquet. So I really like those and having those in here. There were some of the leaves that I cut earlier in the season too to use, but they're kind of short. Maybe lambsy you could use too, but those would also probably be short. Some are just in a repeat here. Whoops, for the rest of this space, but this is the Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus, and those did not do super well out here. They're small compared to the ones that I grew last year. So I think I'm going to give them a try again next year, but maybe they just need some more nutrients out here. I do also have the Anise Hyssop that I started from seeds. So those hopefully will be bigger next year. Hopefully they make it over winter. And those could make a nice cut flower as well. I do have foxglove that I planted. I think most of them have bloomed, so they'll probably not make it next year, but I winter sowed all of those, which was super easy. I'd highly recommend doing that. Oh yeah, this is the Verbena bonariensis, which I still can't decide if I actually like it. It's such a tiny little thing. I had some struggles starting that from seed, so see if I can get it figured out a little bit better next year, but they do add just a little bit of whimsy to the garden, so I think I'm not going to give up on them yet. But you can use those as a cut flower. There is also zinnias stuck in here, which they are like huge and doing really well. They were a little bit slower to bloom, I think, than the other ones, but these are the Benary Giant series, so that could have something to do with it, because I don't have any of those in my other space. So they have put out quite a few flowers now, but they were a little bit slower. So I'm not sure if it was location or spot or sun or what, but you can see this one is a much bigger Gomphrena. That one I could probably be cutting off of. This one is probably actually even too late, but I love this color, which I think is like a purple, and I might just do a purple next year. I did a mix this year, which also looked okay, but I actually really liked it with the petunias because they like kind of come sticking out of it. So that was fun. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else over here. I did have some bachelor's buttons in here, but I don't think I cut any bachelor's buttons this year. They're just, I don't know. They're a lot of work for what you get, I guess. So that's kind of it for this area. Oh, I should mention one honorable mention here. So this space back here, these are all catmint, and I actually cut them on them pretty heavy this year for filler, and it smells wonderful because it's minty, and they really don't care. So those were a nice little purple filler. Okay, I think that maybe is it. I probably forgot like 3 things that are in here, but there's a lot. Oh, I do, before I move, sorry for all my gardening equipment everywhere. So these are all the peonies that I have on this, in this spot here, and they all did okay this year. So I think I'm just going to leave them there. All right, so then if we go, oh, also I have a volunteer aster over here. It's cracking me up. And it's like, of course, happier than anything else that I have. So, whoops, sorry, wrong way. So then this is what we call the garage garden. This might be a little bit hard to see because of the sun right now. And I have a couple of things in here that I will be cutting on. In future years, I have a couple of zinnias in here too that I've done okay. So this is a Baptisia, and I'm definitely going to be cutting the foliage in the future for this, but it was still, this is its second year here, so I didn't want to do it too soon. I had some zinnias in the back that did okay. This doesn't get a whole lot of sun, so I just kind of wanted to see how they did, but those are the Venery Giants again, so they're a little bit different. I do have, this is actually from my great grandma's house, but it does look like it's probably an autumn joy sedum. We weren't really sure what it was when we moved it this spring. So these are a chrysanthemum, and I'm thinking you could probably use them for a cut flower. They all flopped from that middle spot there, so I should probably cut some of these and try that, but they're just so cute. I love them so much, and they came from a friend, so it makes them even better. There is some other like variegated sedum in here that I could cut as well, but I haven't this year. You can see it's a zinnia there. And then this rose will be good for cut flowers, I think, in the future, but it's still pretty small right now. Okay, so then this is my last landscaping area. So this is what I've been calling the lily garden. And I ended up with lilies, daisies, and some iris, and then dahlia, extra dahlias in here, which I love the dahlias in here because, as we all know, lilies don't bloom the whole season. So then the zinnia or the dahlias kind of take over. So I'm going to be more heavily planting this area with dahlias next year. And like I said, I'm going to be dividing my colors up a little bit more cohesively. So half of them will probably end up in here. But they're all really happy. But this is my lily area too, which I use for cut flowers. And I have red lily beetle. So it was kind of devastating this year. And I tried to kill as many as I could. So hopefully we'll continue that battle next year. But mostly I have like an oriental lily or Asiatic lily in here that they are, you can see they're randomly tucked in here. This, I believe it was this one here, was a white one that I had. And it was beautiful. That one was the one I cut the most. So you can see here I cut them a little bit deeper. So I'm hoping those come back nice again next year. And the rest of them grow a little bit bigger. So I have quite a few of the cut flower lilies in here. So like Asiatic or Oriental or some of those hybrid ones. So I don't plan on adding any more. But I'm just going to show you this too. Well, and this is a mini dahlia. It's so cute. And when I did not cut either. And I think maybe I'll try more cut flower dahlias next year. I should still this fall. And then we have some Solomon seal that I'm hoping is bigger next year that I can use for cut flower filler as well. Okay, so this is my vegetable garden, and I have some overflow cut flowers in here, which are right over here. And the drip failed in this area, so things were really not looking good for a while, but I think I'm nursing some things back to life. So in here we have celosia all the way up to there, and then gomphrena in the back. So this first one here is flamingo feather, which still remains like one of my favorite here. The bees absolutely love it too, but it's just a nice neutral, and it does get a little bit more pink in the fall. Then we have ruby parfait, which looks, well, probably more like this when it's ready. And that one is another one of my favorites. This ruby color, I don't know, it has a special place in my heart. Like, I never thought that would be one of my favorite cut flower favorite cut flower colors, but it totally is. So then we have some, I think this was like sylphid or something like that, but they stayed so small. They didn't really, I cut like 3 one time and they were cool in the bouquet, but yeah, I didn't like grow enough of them and they're really small. So then this is, oh boy, Selway White. And it just looks so dirty. I don't know. I just don't really like them. I like the leaves, like the lime, but yeah, I don't know. They're just not the greatest. Then we have a random kale plant. And then we have Selway Terracotta over here, which is gorgeous, but they all stayed pretty short too. Some of them are getting there now, but I really like the color. So I just haven't used any of them yet, which is sad. And then we have Strawberry Fields Gomphrena, which is my favorite kind of Gomphrena, because there's like 2 different kinds. So this one you can see it like sends up really long stalks. And then there's this kind, which is, I think this is a QIS mix, and it has lots of branching up top. So it takes a lot longer to cut it and clean it, but it's still really nice. I like it. They're just the cutest little globes. All right, then behind me here, we have florets. This is Precious Metals. And these are just so beautiful. I will definitely try to keep the seed saving going on these so I can continue to grow them, because she is not selling seed next year. So it's on us to keep them going. So you can see the variety here is just gorgeous. And these were a mix, and that's what they were stated as. But they're just so beautiful. I love every single color that I got. And I'm really hoping that my seed I save is good. Oop, this one looks like it's ready to save. So we'll have some seed, it looks like. Should get it out here and cut that. Might be another one down there. And she did have a seed saving series that you can sign up for free. And it had amazing information in there. So make sure you sign up for that class if you haven't. All right, so then over here, we have some Rudbeckia that is, I think it's Cherokee Sunset. Yeah, I think so. And this one like didn't send up any flowers this year. And this one sent up a few, but the rabbits just would not leave these alone. So that's why they're here. And then we're going to go into the overgrown wilderness here of the orchard. So in here, I did a few things here. So I'll go through each one here. It won't take too long. So this is where I had the ranunculus this spring, and I'm not sure if it was the best spot for them, but it was nice because the leaves like kind of collect over here, and I used that to insulate them on super cold nights. So I'm definitely doing ranunculus again. I ordered more actually. And I ordered anemones because I've heard those do really well in Wisconsin as well. So I think I'll be starting those, I think it was like February 1st. So watch for that. And get those ordered if you want to. I did definitely need grow lights for those because it's too cold here to get them out as soon as they are sprouting. So then the rest of this little spot here is Pro-Cut sunflowers. And these are single sunflowers and they're pollenless. I did still see some bees on here, so just kind of interesting. They just kind of petered out, though. I'm not really sure what happened. But again, I said this area, kind of the drip got cut off, so that could definitely do with it, too. They probably just needed more water. So I will definitely be doing that again. These ones were Horizon, which were really nice. Those ones were White Light. And those did not do as well, which everyone that I've seen talk about them, so it kind of says the same thing. But the few that I did get were really cute. So I'm probably going to dedicate a little bit bigger space to this and be better with succession planting. I only did 3 successions, which you can see my third one down here. But I did have something like eating the seeds too, so that added to the difficulty. I did have celosia here last year, so I have some volunteers, which is fun. And this one is just like so neon. I love that one. And the dark foliage, it's really cool. This looks like a cut flower, but I am not sure what it is. So then we have the real cut flowers over here. So we have Status, which this is Forever Silver, which is my favorite. And here's more of that Dusty Miller, which also didn't do much back here. And then we have, these are Seeker Blue, which are really pretty. They just stand out so much. And I'll be doing both of those again next year. I need to do a little bit more of the Forever Silver for sure. This purple really looks good with like the sunflowers and the Rebecca. So I'll probably do a little bit more than I did this year on that too. So this space was all plants and some of them just didn't make it. Something was eating them. It just was a weird year for this area. And I obviously didn't get it weeded yet either, which doesn't help anything. So kind of a sad year on this little stretch here. So then back here, I have the basil, and these are what was planted here, and a vole came and ate them all, except for 2 made it. So these were the decorative kale here. It was like crane white or red maybe that I planted. Not sure, but they're not probably going to do anything because it's fall already. And then we have the basil that I grew for filler. So this first one is lemon basil, Mrs. Burns lemon basil. And this one was like the most prolific. And the spot is like shaded a lot. Like it needs a different spot probably next year and they'll do even better. But the smell is really nice on these. Like they're very fragrant. And it's like you move the bouquet and they smell again. So Mrs. Burns lemon was beautiful. And then I had cinnamon basil as well, which didn't do as well. But it just could be because it's spot as well. But those have that purple flower on them. So they might not match as well, but I really liked both of those too. And that's it for the tour today. If you want to see some of the bouquets that I put together this year, hop on over to Instagram or Facebook, Tailored Acres, and you'll see everything that I've been busy with this summer. And thanks for joining. Take care.